Let's Go UW also says, thoughts on Najee's comments in the press conference and the interview. I'm going to be honest. What he said doesn't surprise me in the slightest bit. Alrighty. So clearly, Let's Go UW was in the show. He was in the pre-show meeting. All right. And he was a part of that conversation because, yes, that is actually a part of today's show. So you already know the drill. Hit the like button one time for the culture. And don't forget to subscribe either if you're new to the channel. All right. Because Let's Go UW, like I said, was a part of the show prep. And he knew to prompt this question. So I do appreciate you on that. But yeah, man, when they were asking in the sense of what's, Najee's comments in his press conference, man, to basically summarize it, he felt that offensively we haven't really had an identity or just leadership on that side since he's coming to the NFL. He talked about how a lot of the leadership predominantly has been on the defensive side of the football, and he's felt like they have had an identity. They have, the answers for themselves, but for, finding that offensive guy that he could kind of lean on or, kind of show him the way and have this offense have a true identity. He said he just never really had that. And then he referenced, just young players, obviously being out there. And that was more so in reference to Kenny. But he also, just kind of talked about the positive parts of being out there, with the Chargers and stuff like that. And to me, man, I think it really boils down to this. Not a shot. I think he's just being honest. And from his perspective, that is valid to an extent. And the reason I said to an extent is this. We don't consider Big Ben or Russ to be young quarterbacks, but at the same time, for what he's talking about, I'm sure he feels like the majority of his time he's been here, he hasn't had that guy at quarterback. And that's, the reality of it. When you don't have that guy at quarterback, you feel as if you do not have an identity on that side of the football. Just speaking from experience, when I was in Buffalo, my 4 years there, we had a lot of different quarterbacks. Trent Edwards, Ryan Fitzpatrick. Then after Ryan Fitzpatrick, we went Thad Lewis, Jeff Toole, EJ Manuel. Yeah, and that was all during my 4 years. And then they went through, EJ Manuel, Kyle Orton, Tyrod Taylor. And then I think Josh came in. So, yeah. And for a while, it just felt like, there was no identity. You could be dominant on defense. You could feel great about your defense. And at times, that's what we felt. But when it would come time to actually, close out games or find ways to win games, you just never really felt like the offense knew what way they would want to attack or how they could attack in terms of like having that bread and butter. Like when we talk about the killer B era, we knew, man, you can either get that rock to L Bill, Big or AB could get off, or Seven could put that cape on and do that hero stuff. When Najee came here, man, we really haven't had that. And that's part of what they've been trying to find, whether it's, okay, you should have moved on from Ben before you drafted Najee, whatever, right? Or was it, all right, you took the chance on Kenny Pickett thinking he could come in and be the answer. Unfortunately, he wasn't. Was it, okay, you thought maybe Russ could come here and be the answer. Unfortunately, he wasn't. But the constant through all of that has been Najee. And we talk about Najee, man, the 4 consecutive seasons, 1,000-yard rusher, and how he faces a ton of criticisms as if he's been the one who hasn't performed, as if he's been the one who didn't live up to, his kind of draft status. And when you compare him to obviously the play of others who were also higher in draft picks or had, more compensation, yeah, he's performed at a higher and more consistent rate than those guys. But the criticism that he's faced has been a lot louder. And I'm sure he felt that as well. And yeah, when you get a chance to finally talk about those type of feelings, you finally get a chance to talk about the differences when you see another perspective, when you see another side of it, yeah, it will make you say certain things. It will make you, feel some type of way. But this is also expected, man. When you go to the new spot, you just got paid out there. They didn't pay you here. So you feel some type of way. It's nothing wrong with that, man. Like you put your blood, sweat, and tears. You put your heart in this day. We all feel like that, man. And that's why I said this, like, I don't have an issue with anything that he said. But at the same time, it's like, every organization has that. Every organization has something, you know what I mean? And it's just, when you first get there, everything feels great. Everything seems perfect. But once the season hits, man, then you start to see like, all right, bro, y'all got some nonsense over here too. But right now, he at the gravy spot. It's just the honeymoon phase. So, like I said, man, I don't have an issue with it. I I do feel like, man, we are still trying to find an offensive identity, but any team that doesn't have a franchise quarterback or a true QB1 is searching for an identity. I don't even say QB, I say franchise guy, because Daniel Jones was a QB1 in New York. And we saw it even with them. It was like, yo, what are y'all trying to do? Y'all don't really have like, what are y'all? So it's like, if you don't have a franchise guy, yeah, you don't have the identity. The identity is, hey, Najee, man, you just keep running this ball, man. We're going to stay afloat. Defense. All right, I'm going to need y'all to stay locked in. All right, hey, special teams, be perfect. And tread water at quarterback until we can figure out that answer. That's the reality of life in the NFL when you don't have the franchise guy. And unfortunately for Najee, he just hasn't experienced it. Now, I anticipate him feeling way different in LA because you got Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert is a franchise guy, man, or fringe franchise guy for the people that, you know, have a little bit harder stance on him. The kid's talented as heck, though, man. They have a definite identity out there. They have a coach that understands direction. And, you know, for that, I think he will still feel good about, from a coaching standpoint, he'll feel good there. But, yeah, the big difference for him is going to be, man, Justin Herbert. Defenses can't play Justin Herbert, or defense can't play Najee the way that he's been played here, because that quarterback out there is something that we haven't had since Najee has been here. That's the difference for him, man. So he should enjoy it out there. But like I said, man, he will see that every organization has flaws. Every organization has certain things that they do really well, that they thrive in, that's going to make you feel great. And then they also going to do things that you're just like, bro, I don't really agree with this. I kind of feel some type of way about this. But as long as you keep coming up there, you know, do what we're supposed to do, man, everything will be fine. Animal say, yeah, I trade GP for Justin Herbert tomorrow. What's he said yesterday? Jeez. But you know how it is, man. It's like, yo, if you got that type of quarterback, heck yeah, man, everybody would go play for that. You're trying to find the Herberts, the Mahomes, the Allens, the Jacksons, the Burrows. Like, come on, man, you know this. Heck yeah, it's a quarterback league, man. And you either have that guy or you don't. But if you don't, you got to figure out how to make all this other stuff work to at least keep you relevant. And that's what the Steelers have been doing in the interim, but it does weigh on people, especially when you throw criticism in there. Now you talking to Najee, you telling him he shouldn't get paid a certain amount of money, and it's like, bro, I ain't trying to hear none of that. And that's the part for where, when we're talking just simply Najee, I can't understand why he would say what he said. And, you know, like I said, well, I ain't got no issues with it, man. So, like I said, man, y'all let me know how y'all feel about that, though, man. Drop it in the comment section, man, how y'all feeling about, you know, what he said, man, because I mean, can we really fault him? Think about what he's had to play with. What has been the identity since he's been here? All right, let's see. But yeah, that was funny, though. All right, so Kenneth Moses says, 1,000 yards shouldn't be the standard anymore since they play 17 games. 1,000 yards was the standard for 14 games. So I think it should be 1,200 yards. And I think that's fair too. But the problem is you still don't get people that consistently run for 1,000 yards. That was the thing that makes Najee still stand out, is even when you break it down to what you just broke it down to, and you look at the amount of guys that still have done it or did not, you're like, man, it makes him look even more like an outlier than the norm. But the problem is, as an outlier, he doesn't have the full outlier, you know, package of characteristics, which is that you can take that thing 100 or you can run through everybody and go 100. Like, he don't have that part. But he's more a statistical anomaly than he is average, just by way of the 1,000 yard, 1,000 yard, 1,000 yard, 1,000 yard. That's, like I said, what does separate him. But yeah, as much as we would love to just minimize it and say, yeah, man, anybody can get that. The problem is we don't, in terms of the consumer, account for the injury uptick. Yeah, you add that extra game, cool. Dudes also don't play in that extra game at times. Dudes don't play all the games in the season at times because of the added, you know, element to that, man. So, I mean, shoot, we seen with Saquon, it was like, man, how long until you played a full season, right? McCaffrey. It's like, bro, you had like a couple full seasons. Then it's like, yo, man, it disappeared a little bit on us, right? Kamara. It's like, yo, we could name all these like nice backs, but you start looking, you like, yo, they ain't got 4 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. Heck, Kamara had just got his 1,000-yard season, right? And so that's the part with Najee where it's like, yo, I can understand from his perspective where, yeah, what's the identity, man? Because I'm doing my part. And y'all tell me I shouldn't get paid, but I'm doing my part. And it's like, yo, he is. But that's the part where, like I said, man, we all are making our business decisions. And that's what the Steelers did by saying, hey, man, we wish you nothing but the best. Go out there. He won his financial element in terms of getting, was it 5 guaranteed up to 9 potentially in LA. So from his perspective, he has to feel good about that. Offensively, he's going to be going into a situation that, at least on paper, should be one of the best offenses that he's been a part of just because of what you have at quarterback, right? So it should benefit him. And then for our side, we're going to see, okay, we didn't spend the money on Najee. Cool. Let's see what we continue to build out over here, along with how we continue to replenish that running back room, right? Because right now, we're not going to just go out there and just rock with what we currently have. Nah, we're going to add something else in there. So that's the part where it's like, okay, let's see what that looks like in comparison to Najee's production. And, whether we're talking the immediate comparison and also from just what Najee did while he was here comparison as well. That's what we'll see what's going on with it, But yeah, it's definitely one of them things right now, man. It's definitely one of them things. But shout out to Naj, man. Shout out to the running backs getting checks, man. That's the thing that I like right now, man. Let them RBs get a little bankroll on them, man. Get a little bankroll.